Hi guys, my name is Tom Kendall Fitness, and today's video is going to be about young men's style advice. Now this is going to be a two-part series. So in this first part I'm going to be talking about general cleanliness, hygiene, styling your hair and all that kind of stuff. So stuff to do with your actual body. And then part two is going to be about clothes and style. So more like practical things about the things that you wear. So if you're not that interested in this part and you don't think you need it, just skip straight to the second part, which I'll release tomorrow. So if you're watching this on the day of upload, then you will have to wait, but most likely you'll not, and vice versa. If you're not interested in that part, just watch this part. So moving on with part one of young men's style advice. Now I'm sure you've all tried to do a lot of research around this, and you've searched up different videos with loads of YouTubers trying to sell you their own hair products and shampoos and toothpaste or whatever. Like there's people that are just trying to scam you out there and trying to sell you stuff that's way too expensive for anything that's in kind of young guys and also girls. This video isn't going to apply to you, but they're trying to sell us stuff that's way more expensive than we can afford. So this is a really good practical video that will give you some really affordable options and just make it really easy for you to kind of upgrade your the way that you look, the way that you're going to be presenting yourself, and giving that really important first impression to people that you might meet out and about. So I'm going to start off with 5 basic rules that if this is the only thing you take away from these 2 videos, I'll do another 5 rules for the next video. If you're only going to take away one thing, just watch this part and click off. I don't mind as long as you follow these first 5 basic rules. So rule number 1, in terms of like body wash products, hair products, all that kind of stuff, I would recommend that if you have no clue and your research isn't going very well online, or this video is not doing it for you, just ask your mum. Like seriously, your mum has probably already done loads of research on what's good for your hair and stuff like that. So yeah, if rule number 1, if you want good hair products that you want your mum to get for you from the shop, let her pick, because it'll probably be the right kind of thing and she probably knows more than you. Rule number 2, shower every day. Now this might seem a bit of a no-brainer for a lot of you, but there are some guys out there that are struggling with their mental health. I've experienced this, not too badly, where they'll shower every 2 days or every 3 days. It's really important that you're showering every day, because obviously if you're following my advice and you're exercising most days, you want to be, in my opinion, getting up early, exercising before you're going to school or going to work or anything, showering, and then you're nice and fresh and clean for the day. Rule number 3 is to make sure you're brushing your teeth twice a day for 2 minutes as well, or longer. Just because you want to keep your teeth nice and clean. For some of us it's a bit more difficult, like me. I do 2 minutes every day, twice a day, and still get a bit of plaque. I don't know like where the sweet spot is, but dentists say 2 minutes. It's always been 2 minutes. So do that twice a day so that your breath is nice and fresh in the morning and in the evening before you go to bed, which just makes interactions with other people a bit more pleasant, especially in the evening. If you're going to be sleeping next to your partner or something like that, the last thing that they're going to want is you having stinky breath. That is going to be shite. They're not going to be able to sleep. Rule number 4 is to constantly work on your body. So there are very practical steps and things that you can buy that will generally make you look better, but you can't buy a good body. I mean, you can buy training plans and fat burners and whatever, but yeah, constantly work on your body, build muscle mass, lose fat, and you will generally, like, your face will be a lot slimmer, your skin will be a lot tighter, you're just going to look better. And rule number 5, never leave your house without applying deodorant and fragrance, and that is deodorant and fragrance. I know a lot of guys, like friends, when we were in secondary school and stuff like that, they would carry around bottles of aftershave and they wouldn't put on deodorant, and you'd see them like spraying Dior Sauvage all over themselves, and it's like, mate, your armpits reek. The aftershave does not mask the BO, and in fact you smell a lot worse if you're trying to mask BO with aftershave. So deodorant on the armpits and elsewhere if you sweat really badly, in other places, but especially the armpits, and fragrance to just kind of give yourself that nice aroma when you're in close contact with other people, and not too much. I would say just 1 to 3 for me, maybe 2 more behind the ears, but 3 sprays for me is enough. So moving on to the practical steps of this video. The first step is going to be eating healthily. Now this you might think is a bit weird, like why is eating healthily in a style advice video? Well, if you eat really healthy and you're somebody, say you don't eat quite healthy at the moment and you have lots of spots and kind of greasy, oily skin, maybe greasy hair as well, eating healthily, I promise you, if you begin to eat healthily, loads of your spots will begin to clear up. This happened with me. That kind of greasy, oily skin that you get on your face, if you're prone to it, you will still experience a bit of that, but it will begin to clear up, and your hair as well. Obviously it's going to reduce your body fat, so you're going to look a lot nicer in t-shirts and stuff like that. Another thing, eating healthily will improve your gut health, which this sounds a bit weird, but if you have bad gut health, there's a lot of kind of like reactions going on in there, lots of gases which will cause you to burp and fart quite a lot. So if you eat healthier, you're going to be less likely to passing wind in the company of others. And the last thing is that it's going to keep your teeth nice and healthy. It's going to keep them, nobody's teeth are perfect unless they've had something done to them. They're always going to be a bit yellow unless you're really lucky, but it's going to stop them from going like really disgusting and prevent you from needing fillings and things like that. And the second thing, the second like subtopic in step 1 is that you need to be working out in the gym, doing weight training, applying the kind of theory of, well, it's not a theory, but progressive overload, progressively overloading your muscles and gaining a bit of muscle mass, just so that you look nicer in t-shirts. You're going to start to fill out the sleeves and the chest area, and overall you're going to look nicer, especially to people that you're meeting for the first time. So step 2, and this is just about general cleanliness. Whenever you're leaving your house, you want to be clean. So a lot of people kind of like to use these like copes or excuses. Oh, I'm only going to a 1-hour lecture, I don't need to be clean. I'm only going to the shop. You never know who you're going to bump into. If you're a single guy out there and you have a crush or something like that, the way that the world works, especially this would happen to someone like me when I was younger, if you think you can get away with going out being a bit dirty, a bit greasy, but it's all right because you just go to the shops, chances are you will run into that person. And I hope it happens to you, because then you'll learn from your mistakes. But if that person sees you in that kind of state, it's not looking good for you. So yeah, my kind of morning routine for general cleanliness would be, obviously I go to the gym first, and I even do this on days where I don't go to the gym. Just jump in the shower, have a shower. I don't kind of buy into the cold showers. I used to, if you've seen the video on my previous channel that I had a couple of years ago. There is a lot of interesting like science there and biology, but I just can't be arsed with jumping in a cold shower in the morning. So I would have a shower, make sure to wash your face with whatever face wash. I use this Hibby scrub thing. It's like medical grade. It's got antibacterial properties, no kind of weird harsh chemicals in there. Works perfectly for me, really helped clear up my skin whilst I was in secondary school, and I started to get a lot of spots, and obviously they've mostly all cleared up now, as you can see. So yeah, wash your face, get a good face wash that's not going to be too harsh on your skin. Wash your hair. In terms of looking for shampoos and stuff like that, I use this like L'Oreal one. It's like an organic shampoo. I know that sounds a bit like bent, but organic shampoos are less likely to have those little like those microplastics in, which are just generally bad for you. If you don't know about microplastics, do a bit of research on that. Scary stuff. But yeah, have a good shampoo that's going to make your hair look nice and smell nice as well. That's important. And after you've gotten out of the shower, I would just kind of dab my hair, and I'll talk about hair in the next step, and then apply some moisturizer straight away after you've dried your face, just to prevent it from going dry and kind of cracked, because you don't want to be going outside with dry skin, because first of all other people can see it, and your skin might start to like scab up a little bit, and it just doesn't feel very nice. Right, so step 2, moving on to how to kind of style your hair and stuff like that. After I've applied moisturizer, when I get out of the shower, I will blow dry my hair, and I just kind of, I've got quite short hair because I gave myself a buzz cut a couple of years ago, and never really grown back. So I just kind of blow dry it all forwards and then give it a little bit of a quiff at the front. So just blow dry it into the style that you want using a comb. I'd recommend quite like a wide toothed comb so that you're not like pulling loads of hairs out, especially if your family has a history of heavily receding hairlines. You don't want to be pulling loads of hairs out. But if your family's got good genetics in terms of hair, it doesn't really matter what you use. Yeah, blow dry it into the style that you want it, and then apply some hair product. Now, a lot of guys are very, I don't know, I used to be like this where I just didn't want to use hair product. But if you have kind of quite thin hair like me, and even if you have thicker hair, you just want to put some product in it. You don't have to put loads in, but it holds it in place for the whole day. You don't have to worry about it then, and if it does fall out of place, you literally just move it with your hand. It should stay there. It gives it some nice texture as well. It just generally makes it look nicer and more attractive. And if you're like me, where when you were at school, or if you're at school now, and your hair was always just blowing all over the place, and you wonder how some of your friends, their hair stays like in the same place all day, I would ask people, how does your hair stay in the same place all day? Like, what product do you use? And they would tell me that they don't use hair product. Those people have now admitted to me that they did use hair product, but they didn't want to tell me because their mum bought it them. So if anybody's hair stays in the same place all day, especially if it's quite thin, and they say they don't use product, they're lying. So I use this. I've used this literally since I was about 10. It's called VO5 Matte Clay. You can get it anywhere. You can get it Tesco's, Boots, wherever. It's like £5, I think, for a little tub. It lasts for ages and it's pretty good. And another reason that you want to be showering every day, by the way, as well, is just to make sure that you're washing this stuff out. You don't want to leave that in your hair for too long, because then your hair doesn't really get a chance to breathe. But yeah, hair product will just help keep your hair in place and give it some nice texture, and it'll look nice throughout the whole day. And the last thing on hairstyle is, mine's kind of faded a bit now, but just if you're a bloke and you've got quite short hair, a skin fade will just make it look a lot cleaner. Long hair on the back and sides, unless that's the style you're going for, can just make you look a bit kind of unkept. Getting a skin fade just gives you kind of a really nice clean look, and it gives off the signals to other people that you're someone that looks after their appearance and enjoys making themselves look nice, which is a good quality in a person. A lot of people think it's a bit shallow. I don't. I think your appearance is very important in terms of the way it makes you feel and the way it presents you to others. So, still on the topic of hair, I'll be talking about facial hair, which obviously I have none of, because I shaved earlier. But especially for young guys, unless you can like grow a proper beard, get rid of the rat stash, get rid of that shit little goatee that you've got. Those ratty little beards will get you no attention from women above kind of like the 5 out of 10 range. Like, girls below the 5 out of 10 love guys with the ratty beards. So if that's the kind of quality of woman that you're going for, by all means keep it. But if you want to attract higher quality women, just get rid of it. And if you're keeping it because you don't think you look manly enough for whatever reason, get in the gym and start working on your body to build some more muscle and look a bit more masculine. So I think this costs like 20 or 30 quid. This is great just for upkeep every couple of days. But apart from that, just any razor, just please get rid of that rat stash, that ratty beard. Nobody thinks it looks good, especially not your mum or your nan if they tell you that it does. Step 3 is going to be about odour, so the way that you smell. And this is very important, because if you smell bad, you're actually going to kind of, especially if you're a bloke, you're going to start to like repulse other girls and guys. They're not going to want to be around you because you smell awful. So firstly, we want to prevent bad smells, and the way to prevent bad smells, as hopefully everybody knows, is deodorant. So always put deodorant on before you leave the house. I'd recommend doing it when you get out of the shower. So dry your armpits first and then apply some deodorant. Now, Lynx used to do the Lynx white cans, which were like really good antiperspirant, but for some reason they've stopped doing those. So the best alternative, in my opinion, is these like Lynx sticks, stick deodorant. They actually don't sell these anymore, so I'm gonna have to find a different one. But you can still get them on Amazon, and these are really good. They completely stop me from sweating throughout the day. I mean, they might have some really bad chemicals in, but the most important thing is that you want to stop yourself from sweating, and if you do sweat, you want the kind of Lynx Africa smell to be radiating from your body instead of really stinky BO. So as well as deodorant, to prevent another bad smell, which is your breath, as I've already said, make sure you're brushing your teeth for 2 minutes morning and night, so that when you're speaking to people you're not releasing any bad smells. And one thing I would say, if you're someone like me who likes to drink coffee in the morning to kind of wake yourself up, have your coffee before you brush your teeth, because otherwise if you do it after, then you're still going to have that kind of coffee breath. So if you have the coffee first and then brush your teeth, your breath will smell nice and minty, hopefully. And then after we've prevented bad smells, we then want to give ourselves a nice smell that's kind of coming off of us for most of the day. So yeah, before you leave the house, whatever the situation, just apply some fragrance. I'll show you my kind of fragrance collection, and you can, all the ones that I have are pretty good, and you can either decide from the ones that I have which one you want to get, or just go and look at some of Jeremy Fragrance's videos on, try to look at his older ones because the newer ones are a bit weird, but look at some old Jeremy Fragrance videos. He has some good advice in there. So I'll show you my collection. None of these are going to cost you more than £50, and I've had all of these for longer than a year, so they're really good bang for your buck. Cheaper than 50 quid is very good for fragrances, and if you're looking for good prices, I recommend the website Notino. Do not buy them in the shop, and do not buy them on Amazon because you'll get scammed. Just buy them on Notino. You can pick up older batches for like half price. So the first one going to be Versace Eros. This is just a really good like clubbing fragrance, but you can also wear it day to day. This is just great for kind of teenagers, like maybe like 15 to 20 year olds, maybe a bit older. It's nice and fruity, nice and sweet. Girls like that one. This is Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue. This is great for the summer. I don't use it at the moment because it's obviously the winter, but this is a great kind of fresh one in the summer. If you are looking for a summer fragrance, this is not going to work because it's too sweet. Do not wear anything too sweet in the summer. You want something nice and fresh like this. This is kind of like a hidden gem that's really cheap and really good. This is Bentley for Men Azure. I found this in a TK Maxx. TK Maxx are really good for cheap fragrances as well. I think this costs like 20 quid. This is a really good, just clean kind of like office fragrance that I wear when I'm going into university or like a more formal environment. And then I don't actually like the smell of this. This is Mont Blanc Legend Spirit. I wear this when I'm in the gym because it is a good gym fragrance. It mixes nicely with kind of your sweat, and that is a factor of fragrances, like how well they mix with your particular body odor. But for some reason girls absolutely love this. So if you're just looking for a fragrance that girls like, Mont Blanc Legend Spirit, even though I don't like it, gets lots of compliments from women. So that's kind of my little collection. Take from that what you will. Anyway, let's move on to step 4. So this is the fourth and final step, and this is just about general upkeep during the day. So how to keep yourself kind of fresh and clean throughout the day, whether you're going to be at school or in the office or something like that. So for the skin, if your skin is naturally quite oily and you notice that during the day your pores are kind of releasing a lot of oil and your face looks a bit greasy, I'd recommend just going to the bathroom, and the kind of shit toilet paper that most public bathrooms has is actually really good for absorbing like grease and oil from your skin. So go in there, I'd kind of pull off a few pieces first to make sure that you're not wiping your face with somebody else's piss. But yeah, just get a bit of toilet paper, dab your face, and that should kind of absorb a lot of the grease and the oil, and you should be good to go after that. And even better, if you're in a cafe, the kind of Costa or like Starbucks napkins are even better. So yeah, that's just a little tip. And the second thing is carry some lip balm around. I usually apply lip balm before I leave the house. But just carry a stick of lip balm. I use like the little Nivea ones. They're really good just to prevent dry, cracked lips, especially if you're going on a date or going to a party or something like that, and you're planning on like getting with girls or trying to attract women, and you know that you're going to be trying to, like, especially if you're going to kiss women or stuff like that, the worst thing that you want to have, and thing that will kind of make them feel a bit repulsed, is if you have really like dry, cracked lips. So lip balm is a bit of a godsend on that one. Just carry a little stick of it around, and if you notice your lips start to get cracked or dry, just put a little bit of it on. For the hair, to kind of keep your hair looking the way that you want it to throughout the day, if you use the hair product like I've said, you should be fine. But if you're getting a bit worried that it's gone a bit all over the place, just literally pull out your phone camera, and this will be way easier if you've got this in your hair already, and just sort it out and put your phone away. I know that seems a bit like obvious, but I'm just making the point that it's going to be much easier if you use hair products. And also for hair, if you do have particularly thin hair like I do, and you're worried about it, say if it's like a particularly windy day and you have to walk to school and you're worried about it getting blown all over the place, just take a baseball cap. If you don't have a baseball cap, I'd recommend just buying like a plain black one. That's like what I've got, without a logo on, so that you can literally just wear it with anything, and just put a cap on when you walk in there, and then once you get inside, take the cap off and your hair will be completely fine underneath it. One thing I will say though, if you're going for a quiff, whereas I brush it forward so it doesn't affect me, if you're going for a quiff, I'd probably recommend wearing a beanie instead, because if you wear a cap and you kind of pull it down like this, it will flatten your hair out a bit. So if you're trying to go for like the pushback look or a quiff, just get your beanie and like pull it on this way so that your hair is still going to be in the shape that you want it to be, and you can just, once you take it off, just get your phone camera out and just ruffle it up a bit to get that volume back, because it will come back straight away. So for odour, to upkeep your fresh smell throughout the day, carry some deodorant with you, whether that's stick deodorant or spray on deodorant, so that if you start to sweat a bit, just put some deodorant on if you notice you start to smell. If you notice you start to smell, I would, if possible, try and wet your armpits a bit and then dry them down to kind of give them a wash, if it's possible, and then reapply deodorant. Otherwise you're kind of just going to be putting deodorant over that bad smell, which isn't bad, but that's just a recommendation. And if you want, carry around like a little travel bottle of fragrance in your bag, just to apply it throughout the day, because especially like summer ones like this usually only last for like 4 or 5 hours. So if you're going to be out for long periods of time, maybe you just want to carry around a little travel bottle just to apply some on. But for any of you at like secondary school or stuff like that, I wouldn't recommend this, because obviously I don't want any of you like getting robbed for your aftershave or anything. And also, when you're at school or at the office, when you're kind of sat in rows of people, if you have too much aftershave on, it can sometimes be a bit uncomfortable for the people sat around you if you have loads on. But anyway, that is it for this for part 1 of this Young Men's Style Advice series. Remember those 5 basic rules that I said at the start of the video. So listen to your mum for advice, shower every day, brush your teeth twice a day, constantly work on your body, and do not leave your house without putting on deodorant or fragrance. Make sure, if you want my personal daily timetable, to click my link in the description. My Instagram is also linked in the description, to avoid confusion with my previous Instagram. But yeah, look out for part 2 of this video. I'll actually be filming this part straight after, but I hope this video was helpful. If you know that there's someone that this advice can apply to and it can help them, please share it with them. This has been Tom Kendall Fitness. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.